Hey, it's Sarah. I hope that this finds you well. I'm reaching out today to talk about some notices that I have around the sacred feminine and women's bodies, and to tell you about a 7-week call offering that I'm organizing for just next week, next Thursday, the 9th. Even if you're not interested in the calls, that's okay. You'll still glean something from this video, I hope. And this is just coming from my heart at this time. I know that there are a lot of emotions in our collective field. I know that there are a lot of changes in your households. I know that you might be spending more time with people that you find emotionally triggering, even though they are your loved ones, and others of you may be farther from those that you wish you could connect with. So it's a trying time indeed, and I want to share some notices that I'm having about what is collectively happening in women's bodies, some trends I'm noticing, as well as talk about some ways that we can be with ourselves and together at this time to really help shift our lives as a whole. Because I hope that we realize that we don't go through something like this, something so dark, something so hard, unless there is a massive opportunity for us to grow through it. So I know we're still in the reverberation stages of realizing that this is going to be taking place for a while. So we might not yet be cool with it. That's okay. Like, you get to be however you are at this stage in the game. So we live in a system that has us habitually very busy. And the patriarchal system that we live in, now don't freak out because I use the word patriarchy. It's not like I'm like not down with the patriarchy. I'm just saying we've lived in a system for thousands of years that was based in a couple of core things. Power and authority to men was given to men first. If you wanted power and authority, you had to take on some of those masculine characteristics. The patriarchy is also based in a lot of consumption and separation as well. Like, if you want to succeed, there's like an inherent competition. If you want access to resources, you have to go after them and you have to do it better than the person beside you, and like compete for the jobs and compete for the resources. That's just sort of what's ingrained in us. And at this point in time, we have this like giant pause button pushed on the patriarchy, is how I see it. Like, systems as we have known it have a pause. And we're seeing collectively, like, oh, more people are planting gardens, more people are taking walks outside. Here in the US, we're experiencing springtime. And so there's like a getting back to nature that's happening. There's a opportunity for slowness and connection to the outside world. Um, People are realizing, like, oh, not as many emissions are in the air. Like, this is actually really good for the environment, right? And I know it's hard depending on the situation to look at those bright sides, but they're there. Like, we're experiencing this opportunity for some change. However, when I've been talking to women at this time, women who have been going to work, who have been juggling a really thick work responsibility and a really thick home life and parenting kids and squeezing in the self-care and trying to be a good partner, like any of those things. Right now, there are a couple of trends that are coming to the surface. One, we're noticing how lives have been segmented. If you are a woman who has been juggling these things, you were probably able to sustainably do that, even though your energy was running low, because they were kind of segmented. Now, if you're trying to work from home and homeschool the kids and be with the partner all the time, it's like everything just came together. That's really overwhelming. Um, Also, no, there's another trend that because we're so used to doing sort of collectively in the culture now, not all of this might apply to you. I'm talking about the collective. So take what works, leave the rest, as I always say. So you're used to going really fast. And the nervous system, while it might not feel good, and you're like, maybe I'm getting a little sick, maybe my adrenals aren't really very happy with me, maybe I know I need to rest some more. What's happening is like this pause is pushed in our own lives, this pause button, and it may feel uncomfortable because as uncomfortable as it felt to hustle and keep going, it now feels also uncomfortable to pause because your nervous system is almost like it's addicted to the fight or flight chemicals. And so now you're in place and those fight or flight chemicals are like still going and it could feel super uncomfortable. And the opportunity to rest, it looks like an opportunity to rest, which I'll talk about in a second. However, that can feel really hard or impossible or uncomfortable. And that's okay. That's okay. So, this opportunity, here's another trend, the opportunity to rest and come into the body, especially in female bodies, like the sacred feminine is here and ready to anchor onto the earth. And women, she's going to come through us. Okay. Now, if this is new language to you, like that's okay. Or if you're on a path of awakening and you have been actively reclaiming the feminine, and there's this like ideal to, oh, rest and surrender, and that these are the energies of the sacred feminine. Well, a couple of things. Right now, we have the pause and the space to allow that to truly anchor, but also it's difficult because of what we've been experiencing, because of the habitual hustle, because of the addiction to the fight or flight. And we just, we're almost collectively as women, we're used to having to overcome. We're used to like the striving and the wanting rest, but not necessarily believing that we're going to have it because the system didn't support it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, are you with me right now? You going, yeah. So here we are with this giant pause. And I know that women are uncomfortable for all the reasons I've mentioned and then some. I want to hear your reasons. I've heard from women who are in the house with a spouse and they're like, why aren't they doing anything to make the situation better? Damn it, I have to keep going. But their bodies are actually telling them to rest. There's a collective like need and want in women's bodies for rest right now. And so that's happening. I'm hearing from women who, are trying to juggle work and home and homeschooling. I'm one of them. And it's like, how do I not get mad at my kid? How do I do the work that I want to put out into the world? How do I know who I am amidst everything? And here are the things that I think are opportunities right now. Like, let me just cut to the chase. And these are the things that we're going to be talking about and bringing in a 7-week call series. It's just 12 o'clock noon on Thursdays, starting April 9th and at noon Eastern time. And we are going to be looking at, well, okay, I've segmented these parts of my life. How can I integrate them? We're going to be looking at how can we find the still point in women's bodies? How can we retrain the nervous system now? Like, this is an opportunity now while this pause button is pushed to retrain the nervous system in the feminine body, to really, truly anchor in this idealistic rest that is associated with the sacred feminine that's kind of coming back to the planet now. Not even kind of. Like, you can be a woman on a path of just like, you just tired, you just want rest. Or you can be a woman on like a spiritual awakening path and you are already in touch with your sacred feminine. Now, you can be in touch with your sacred feminine for years and years and years and not actually have an adjustment in your nervous system. So here's what makes this different. This isn't like some flighty, like woo collective. Okay. This is women. There's a pause. There's an opportunity. I know that it feels more chaotic in certain ways, and there is a divine opportunity to get in touch with your body, get in touch with your breath now. We are very accustomed to wanting to know what's next, to wanting to know the answer, to managing the things. And clearly, this is not a time for that. We are truly anchoring in a new consciousness on the planet. And we're moving from that separation, got to fight it out, got to do it all on my own, into a unity consciousness where we operate from the heart. And women, especially right now, have a very unique opportunity to help usher this in. I can give you more information about this if you want to reach out to me. Some of this is my own experience. Some of this is channeled material. Some of this is my hunch. This is like my life, my profession, my passion. So while we are pausing, let's pause together as women and admit some of these hardships, breathe together. So the sequence of these calls, well, the sequence is sort of to be determined because I let things evolve, but within each call, we're going to be doing a meditation, a teaching. I'm going to be sharing, and then we will all be sharing. And if one woman wants to like really come in and say, I need help with this or that, like it's a community, it's a collective. There is an investment. It's $333 only for all 7 weeks, and we will use the Sacred Remembering Facebook group to communicate in between if you want to share inspirations and that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm going to read some things from my list here of ideas and things that are coming in for this. It's going to be really rich. We're looking at the sacred pause. This is what I call it can be a pause, it can be a ritual, but in my ebook on Sacred Remembering, I talk about this sacred pause, that we're really making the slowing down to integrate a part of our lives. Okay, so we talk about rest and receptivity and surrender on an awakening path around the sacred feminine. However, these things are not possible until we acclimate in the nervous system. It's truly not energetically possible for us to be in a masculine orientation of driving and action and succeeding and being receptive in our feminine at the same time. It's not possible. So it's sort of a farce. And I have the way to work that out in the female body energetic system. Okay. The addiction to suffering and the addiction to fight or flight. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about structure and flow. So how do we thrive in a healthy masculine and a healthy feminine orientation? We are going to be breathing together. So my practice is called embodied breath. And the embodied breath is the merging of spirit into matter. It's the merging of the masculine and the feminine. And I have an embodied breath meditation, and I will teach you this. And we will find that embodiment of the breath together, which is not a mind game. It is not a what do I have to do game. It's very different. It's very embodied. It's very nourishing, very wholesome. We'll be talking about nourishment and choosing nourishment. We'll be talking about that still point and how to soothe the vagal nerve, the traumatized system, in order to find the still point. We will be talking about that compartmentalized self and healthy integration right now. And we will be brainstorming together as women to talk about what that looks like, because we are really truly creating a new paradigm right now. So what I'd like to invite you to do is feel into this, and whether or not this sounds like something that you are a hell yes to. If you're still watching this video right now, you're probably resonating with what I'm saying, and it's probably for you. So if you have never done a women's group before, or this is safe. This is a great way to get your toes wet. Um, my other groups are very much like more of a deep dive. This is like inexpensive, just for like this time in history and what is going on in your life. Like, how do you get a little support? How do you get a little community? um, so I also, it's not work, right? Like, this is a great pause to do if you're working from home right now, to do for an hour and a half on Thursdays. And this isn't work. We are not doing one more thing. We are experiencing the not doing. We are experiencing true inquiry and deep inquiry as women, and improving our lives. Everyone in this group has energetic sovereignty. So you are not responsible for anyone else. Although the way I do it in my groups is that after a share, a woman shares and she says, I just want to be heard, or she says, I'm open to feedback, or she says, please, I want suggestions. So each woman is free to say what she wants. She is free to ask for what she wants. Hello, how frequent do we get to do that? All the time. We don't get to do it all the time. How frequent is it that we get to do it? It's rare. So we really practice that autonomy in the groups that I run. And I lost my and, so I'll stop there. Pause there, actually. Energetically sovereign. You get to say what you want. You get to participate as you want. It is a Zoom call. Oh, confidentiality, and we honor one another with confidentiality. So I really hope to get in touch with more of you. If any of this sparks, and if you are experiencing tension, like as a family, as a couple, within yourself right now, reach out. I'm here. I have always worked from home since starting Embodied Breath, and I have gone through the darkness that we are experiencing collectively now. I have gone through that darkness and come up out, and here I am of service. So please let me know how I can serve. Please let me know what I can do. And many, many blessings. May everyone in your family stay healthy and, connected to the truth of who they are while in this close proximity. May everyone find ways to thrive. And so many, many blessings. Thanks for watching. And hopefully we connect soon. Bye.